Hey, welcome to our collective reading. This is a general reading. We're going to take what works, leave what doesn't. If you're just discovering the channel, welcome. If you've been here a minute, welcome back. Any interaction with the channel is useful for me. That was a reversible inside there, which I always feel like is sort of like a secret subconscious desire or something going on. It's not, oh, another one. Wow. There we go. Okay, well, Moonology has spoken. We have confidence is your key to success. So this might be a hidden element within a certain situation of having confidence. Confidence allows us to do a lot of things. Well, for one, it's a new moon, so it's going to allow us to go into some really unknown territory. And I think we want to have like, I'm feeling posture. I'm feeling good posture as we head into something where we don't know what's going on. We want to have some poise. We want to have some posture. We want to be confident that no matter what comes our way, we can handle it. So not necessarily that we're going to success, we're going to smash it, but we're going to be able to handle whatever comes our way. So being confident, knowing you have the skill set, actually, it reminds me of how we started last weekend with the work your light and the pyramid, and you've been working on this for lifetimes. It's just sort of like you do have the skill set to deal with something here. It's an unknown, but you do have the skill set to deal with it. Oh, the other sort of hidden aspect of something is a full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. Oh, you can do it. You can do it. Something is fully revealed, you fully understand a whole situation, maybe something that you've guarded yourself against or been protective about. There's a lot of clarity here and it's resolved. So that unknown part, yeah, where we just like, we don't know, we're going from an unknown to a known. Yeah, it's you can do it. And that unknown part just, it's like, it's actually really simple. It's just you can do it. Yeah, it's going to be resolved. You can do it. And be confident that you can do it. It changes the whole tone of I can do this to, you know, I'm never going to make it to I am going to make it. I have to be clever. I have to be smart about things, but I am going to make it. So, so there's just that difference. And so this is definitely encouraging you towards the like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. I can do this. I can complete this. I can finish this. I can put something to rest, bring something to a peaceful end. I can handle this. A time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo. So yeah, thinking about the attitude. Yeah, it's just approaching something with an attitude of I can do this, I can handle this, and being confident that you can. Yeah, a time to give rather than take is always to me about heading into the unknown with a sense of being able to, with heading into the, this one's heading into the unknown with an understanding that your attitude is part of creating the reality that you're entering into. And how are you going to approach it? How are you going to embody your best wishes and your best hopes for a situation? The situation does come to a close and an end. And so it just seems really fast and kind of really simple. Not really fast, but seems like something goes like is an unknown, but it completes this week. You can do it, and your attitude makes all the difference in the world. All right. All right, and this is this deck. I always forget the name of it. Dreamscape Oracle. This is fascinating. A lot of this seems to relate to last week's reading, because we have balance and we had the yin yang, and she's making the yin yang symbols with her own fingers here. We had that last week, that balance. So I think you're remaining balanced and strong in a situation. You might be bringing balance to a situation. It has a very intellectual feel to it. It has to do with, yeah, how you're seeing a situation. Just feels heavy. It feels heavy. There's a lot of personal growth here. And it feels a little confused, like it's the light and the dark. But here we have 2 new moons and 1 full moon here. So we have like these aspects that are both known and unknown. And this balance almost seems like an intellectual place where you're understanding something. There is a heaviness. The head feels very heavy here. And things don't seem very obvious. Yeah, some things are really covered, cloaked. And you're trying to find balance, maybe in this heaviness. It's reminding me of a bike where, you're carrying something very heavy sort of in the basket of the bike, and it needs to be really balanced because it is so heavy and it could tip you one way or the other. So you're wanting to set it up, and we have the setup card here with the new moon in Virgo. You're wanting to set it up in a way in which it's very well balanced because it is heavy. And so it could tip you over one way or the other. So there's a sense of what you're bringing to a situation needs to be very well balanced. You need to be balanced. Especially even more so if it's heavy. All right, and then these guys that fell on the couch. The Knight. I love this card with what we've already got on the table. The unknown. And it's saying, don't be afraid of the unknown, right? And confidence is your key to success. There's like a sense of not being afraid of this darkness, of everything you don't know. Be confident that even if you're going into a personal darkness, that you can get through this, that you can manage this either by asking for help when you need it or by handling it, that you have the skill set and the tools. There's like an ending and a completion. It may have to do with family because it is in this like Cancer. And then the Virgo is like health. But there's a darkness, there's a unknown, there's a huge amount of unknown, and we already have that here with the new moon and 2 new moons. And these are both out of the night, right? This is the unknown, this is the unknown. The night is this foundation here. So don't be afraid of the unknown. And then koi fish. I love this because it's a little bit like this. Well, they're both watery, they're both emotional. But the legend of the koi fish is a koi fish goes upstream, does all that work. Fish are just big muscles, really, just a muscle that goes upstream. And then the legend of the koi fish is when it finally gets to the I don't know, all the way upstream or whatever, it turns into a dragon. So there is something about like hard work paying off, or something that is difficult, something that has taken a lot of strength, transforming at some point. So the Knight and the koi fish talk to me about sort of navigating through some unknowns and some difficulties, but there is sort of this promise of things being at a great place at the end of it, or at a good place, because we have this personal issue reaches resolution, and the koi fish is nothing if not trying to reach that resolution upstream. So some work involved here. All right, and then this, I think we just want the one card from here. If the dogs come circling round, it's about loyalty. It's about guidance. It could be about receiving guidance. But it's about loyalty. It's about people that love you and care about you, here to protect you. So it could be like this sense of like, I don't know what's going on, or I don't know what this group or these people, because there is a very clear group dynamic if the dogs come circling around. There's multiple dogs and there's multiple sheep here. So there is this sense of like loyalty, of protectiveness, and the dogs coming together to protect those that they love. It's a card about loyalty. It's a card about protecting somebody that needs protecting, that is in a vulnerable state and needs protecting. It's about more than one person or entity coming to your aid to stand up. Maybe you're standing up for somebody. There's the guard dog, and it's not guarding against you and like, you can't come here, rah, rah, rah. It's that these others, this other situation, other people can't hurt this person. Not right now. We're here. We're circling around. We're circling the wagons, and we're having the most vulnerable in the center, and we're protecting, and we're creating a perimeter and protecting what we value in the center. It seems to be, though, that it could be people that are valued, or relationships that are valued and protected. And this too is taking place at night. In this darkness, this circle, right? There's this circle around, there's this circle up here, a protected circle. This could be talking about a circle of friends, or a circle, I mean, it definitely has to do with relationships and has to do with somebody or a group of people being very protective of another group or somebody else. So if you're feeling vulnerable here, know that other people are looking out for you. You're not completely out here by yourself. There are people looking out for you. There are people that want your best for you, want the best for you. So there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknowns. And I think one of the answers to the unknowns is that you will be protected. You are being protected in a social situation. Maybe there's some gossip. Maybe there's some kind of scary situation, but there's protection. All right, and then the Good Tarot, which always astounds me when I pick this deck, because it rarely speaks to me, but then sometimes it does. It's more of an intuitive deck than, it doesn't really follow sort of the rules or the known definitions of tarot. It's the Good Tarot. It's meant to not necessarily have a bunch of big scary cards. So maybe that's why I picked it. From the bottom of the deck, 4 of Fire. This would be 4 of Wands. So the 11-11 card, the commitment, the leveling up, the promotion, the opening in reality that has some kind of meaning to you. The flute always speaks to me about love. I was reading about like one tribe where the flute was only used for courting, and that's it. But yeah, there's this, it's a solid leveling up. It's not like I went up a stair and then it was like, well, that's not a real stair. Or I got promoted, or I moved this relationship up, but it was meaningless. It's a very meaningful lift, a very meaningful, solid movement in a really good direction. So this is a fabulous card. It is about moving forward with something, committing to something. And it's a very solid, celebratory time. Past, present, inner landscape. What's at issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Oh, that's fascinating. We have another accidental reversal, totally different deck. Okay, in the recent past, we have love. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is the Lover's card. It looks just like the Strength card in this deck. So it's very confusing. And then I'm like, do I know? Do I? 6. There's a choice. A decision has been made to go towards something we love, even though it's a little scary, even though it's been scary. And there are, again, these like symbols, sacred symbols all around. So, oh, that's interesting. There's 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. This is our only major arcana of this reading, is this love card. So it's about a decision that was made in the past. And this very clearly looks like a decision to go towards something that we love, even though it's a little scary. Because we have this lion here that's a little scary. This is such an odd pairing. We have this woman and this lion. This lion should have eaten this woman alive, but that's not at all what happened. There's a guarded space here. It's like the universe has made space for this commitment. It's special. It's unique. This wasn't just any lion, and this wasn't just any girl. This was a specific combination that works, and I feel as blessed. I don't use that word very often, but I feel like this union and this commitment. Again, we have 4 of fire, so it's sort of this engagement or commitment card. And then we have this love card, which is about a decision having been made to commit to a path that is difficult, that isn't obvious. It is not really the clear choice, where if you did a spreadsheet or a pro-con list, you wouldn't come up with this answer, this solution. But there was something about it that called to you, and something about it that seemed to work for you. And it just didn't have to do with societal expectations. So there's sort of like, I feel like it's this guarded area. It's this special place, and it's a special, unique relationship that maybe shouldn't have worked, or this thing that doesn't really work very obviously, but has. And you found some peace with this path that you've taken. But yeah, there is this sort of like guarded, protected area you've been in. Maybe you've made a decision that's been sort of a protected. It also feels very private, like a private place, a guarded, private place. Your current situation, we have you in 3 of water. So it's like, this is really interesting because it's typically a party card. It's typically hanging out with your friend, 3 of cups. It's a friend circle. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's enjoying some drinks, sharing their joys and concerns. So that could be what's going on. But in this deck, she's just by herself, and the cups are just hers, and they're full of, it's like after the party or something, like she's cleaning up. She's clearing away, but there's all these sorts of nuggets that are left over after this party, after this gathering. And we have this like hint of the gathering right here. So there's this like all sorts of just beautiful nuggets of wisdom, and it's like a purified wisdom, or like it's like difficult things have happened to people around you, and they've learned a lot from those things, and they've given those pieces of wisdom to you. Now, it's like hard to discern sometimes about wisdom, because what really worked for somebody and what was a smart move for them might be a terrible move for you. It all depends on where you're coming from, where you're going, what you want. So wisdom advice is not a one size fits all, but it could be that you have received some very valuable advice from a party, from some friends, and you're maybe processing it. The other thing I want to say is that these pearls look like these sheep, right? They're something that needs to be protected. So these pearls need to be protected. This wisdom needs to be protected. And it's significant, I think, that there's 3. but there's some sort of like the takeaway from some sort of fun evening or enjoyment with friends. Maybe not, maybe fun's overstating it, but some sort of enjoyment with friends, or some smart takeaways from this. It wasn't just fun. There was a lot that was learned here in this gathering. And so then your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape is 8 of Earth. It almost looks like you'd like some work. You'd like meaningful work that that reflects you, creative work perhaps. Maybe you're worried about work, about a work situation. Maybe maybe there was a lot of fun had, but something serious came out of it here. But this 8 of Earth, you could be worried about work, worried about a work situation, or you could just be, you could be wanting work. Maybe you get together with some people, maybe you've chosen a certain path, a certain career. You get together with some people and you learn some things about like a new opening someplace or another event someplace else. And so, and it could be about work. It could be about something where you were just out here having fun is what you thought you were doing. But there might be some work opportunities that you end up actually leaving a group activity with, or a gathering with some sort of leads on a job or leads on how you can manage something at work. So your hopes and your fears have to do with work, with creative life. And maybe you've chosen a creative life, and you're hoping for more opportunities to do that and engage with that. So your hopes and your fears have to do with work, could have to do with money, could have to do what you do with what you do for a living. And there's a lot of hopes and fears sort of intertwined together when it comes to work, when it comes to making an impact on the world and having our soul be heard in the workplace. It feels very complex, actually. Like there's a lot of intertwined hopes and fears. And not really wanting something to grow, but not sure if it's growing or dying. And then what's at issue here is 7 of Fire in reverse. What's the issue is you're not making time or space for something. Or somebody's not. There's not. We've lost perhaps a belief in magic. Again, this takes place at night. This is very specifically a night card. We already have the night out here. And we have these new moons and this darkness and this unknown. And then this circle of protection within this unknown area. And yeah, a lot of night. There seems to be sort of a loss of magic, a loss of faith, a loss of belief, right? Because when we have confidence that something's going to happen, we tend to make space for it. Like, no, this is going to happen. No, this is the direction I'm going. I'm going to make time to work on this every day. I'm going to make time to do this. But there's a sense of either not having time or not having made time. It's something that you've chosen to do. It's something that maybe you even have some guidance or some wisdom about. But it's this sense of not having space for it. Sometimes life does overwhelm us with different things, and other things have to take a back burner. But through that, or at the end of the day, we need to be making space for the life we want to live, not necessarily the life we feel we have to live. So there is a sense of a loss of faith, a loss of belief, a loss of space or place even. This could be not feeling in place, not feeling that you're in your space, not feeling ownership over a process, which makes sense, because if it's all unknown and you're just shooting in the dark, how would you own that? How would you have full possession over, yes, I am confidently doing this. I'm confidently doing this when there's nothing to see. You're like, yes, I'm shooting the stars. I'm shooting the stars down, but it's dark and you don't know where the next shooting star is coming from. And you don't know, like, there's just no way to see what you're doing or have faith. But this confidence is your key to success. So this looks like maybe a full acknowledgement of you're not standing your ground. You're not standing your ground. You're not standing up for something. It doesn't feel like it's your place or your ground. It doesn't feel like yours, but there's a sense of needing to have confidence anyway, even though it feels like the ground's been taken out from underneath you. Like this isn't your place. It's not your place. Or you don't feel like it's your place and it actually is, right? What was the thing we had at the beginning? It's like, you can do it. And the 7 of fire looks like, is it really my place? Is it really, do I belong here? Do I belong here enough to make space for this? To make time, to save energy for this, to get up early to do this? And then our accidental reversal, we have 6 of air in your environment. Nobody's leaving. Nobody's going anywhere. It can also be things haven't actually calmed down or settled out, right? 6 of air can be moving on towards calmer waters. And whatever this conflict is right here, let's just move on. Let's just go away from it. But 6 of air reverse is saying that somebody hasn't moved on. Something isn't over with. Somebody hasn't found peace here. Someone's not, or some situation is not settled. There's a very unsettled feel. Things seem very topsy-turvy, more emotional than intellectual. I think this might be coming in here with this balancing emotional and intellectual things. Something in your environment feels way more emotional than maybe it needs to be, feels way more emotional than smart. Like perhaps people who are in a situation have allowed their emotions to overwhelm, like really thinking it through, like, okay, well, maybe they didn't do that, or the way this other person's saying they did that because, this is all informed by emotions. And no one's really making the smart choice to move on. Let's figure this out and let's move on. Lessons learned, moving on. So there's a sense of someone or some situation hasn't moved on yet. It's not, they're not able, it feels like someone's not able to get a grip on their feelings and is really in an emotional maelstrom and can't find their way out. Or is just stuck in an emotional spot and isn't able to think their way out of it or through it. There's this staying in a place that's dissatisfying, and which is always interesting. Like our feelings can be, the feeling is dissatisfied, but the brain's like not being part, or not able to, which there are times in our lives where our brains aren't able to. So, but this is able to like really get in front of the emotions and feelings in a way. But this is something going on outside of you, is people just haven't moved on. A situation hasn't found its intellectual grounding, its intellectual space, a way to think about it in a more useful way. It's still very emotional, and turbulent. This is so fascinating because it's right next to this like 4 of fire, where there's this like solid elevation and there are these solid choices that are made, but there's this like wavering and this lack of feeling like you belong somewhere and what's yours is really yours. And there's this really, I don't like it, the 6 of air. It's like a choice to stay in an emotional state or an emotional turbulence. It feels like a decision actually to stay in emotional turbulence, rather than finding a way out. Page of Earth. Again, we got this last time, but in reverse. You are Page of Earth. This is like, get a new job. Starting a new project. Start a new project. It could be your own project. It could be a project of your imagination. working on it. You're a newbie though. You're like, yeah. So going back to the Six of Air, someone may be in a storm that hasn't passed. That feels like right to me. It's like someone's maybe in a personal storm or having something go on in their life, and that storm hasn't passed yet. They're still in the middle of this storm. So like maybe not expecting too much. Maybe you were supposed to meet with somebody, but something happened in their personal life, and it's just sort of been they're not out of it yet. So maybe you're like, oh, where are we? I haven't been able to do this yet. I haven't had time to do this yet. They're still like very much in upheaval here. So your to-do list, you are embodying page of earth energy. You're new, you're learning something, but there's a sense of embodying your imagination and bringing that into something. It's really interesting because it's an earth, it's this page of earth, but it's got wand. The way they've done it in this deck, there's a wand energy here. It's like this magic earth wand, this golf club. This is a golf club. This is a magic golf club. Like, are you learning golf? But golf is such a grounded sport too. It's like you're literally, the ball is on the ground. You like literally end up like digging little divot things in the earth, you know? But it's almost like mini golf. We're in some sort of wilderness here. We're imagining what it's like to be full grown. We're imagining what it's like, what we're going to be like when this project is completed, when everything's completed. And that's informing how we begin, right? This confidence is your key to success. If you knew that this project or this thing was going to be very successful, and who would you be at the end of that, and how would you have gotten there? And that's how you're beginning. That's how you start off, is thinking about who you're going to be at the end of the project. So yeah, technically you're a newbie, but something in your mind needs to be imagining the final product, or when you arrive at where you want to be, and realize and thinking about, well, what will I be wearing when I am successful? What will I be doing? How will I stand when I'm there? What will I hold in my hand when I'm successful? What will be happening to me? So you're starting with this very clear vision, I think, of this end point of where you're going. And it's solid. It's a very solid foundation. Oh, look at this. He's got two wands, which is really funny because we have two of wands next. This is page of earth. He's got his little practice kid wand, but here he's actually holding the big final wand, the king's wand. So he's been given like a little kid wand to make things happen and do that. But what he has also now is this understanding of the king's wand, or the king's golf club, really. So we've got mini golf and we've got regular golf. Let's say you want to be like a big time golfer. So it's almost reminding me of like getting the tools of success in your hands, but getting proper ones, right? Like when I was in art school, we did, at first you get these student materials, which makes sense. Like, how are you going to stick with this? The student materials. So working with student materials, not happy with any of my work, not happy with what's going on. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe this is ridiculous. Then I decide to go get professional artist materials. There, that helped a lot. So, I mean, really, once you get a sense of mastery, you should be able to go back to crayons and still create something. Ideally, you can go back to crayons and still create something very beautiful and gorgeous. But that, I've suddenly had so much more confidence in myself. I was like, oh no, I'm actually doing fine now that I'm working with like real tools and actually sharp pencils and actual oil paints and all of this on actual canvases and not on pieces of paper. Like it just was suddenly like, oh, actually I am pretty good at this. I just had these crappy tools, and maybe someday I'll be like really good, and I can go back to crappy tools and just to show off. But anyway, so that's what I'm seeing here with this mini golf club and this like professional level golf club, is like getting the right tools is going to make something feel more feasible and could build your confidence even though you're new at something. All right, and then we have Two of Fire, which I find really interesting because he's got the mini golf club and the major golf club. I mean, if you could see these are golf clubs, but they're also like medallions and magic wands, and then he's got two of them. And then here, we're going to Two of Fire, Two of Wands, and that's practical. Where are we going? Let's look. Let's see. What are the practical next steps? Let's say you want a job. What do you got to do? What needs to happen? You got to spruce up your resume. You might need to go take a couple classes to get down the proper computer knowledge that you know that people in the industry you want to go into use, you know. There's just some really practical things that need to be considered here. This has very strong hermit vibes, which again is talking to us about Virgo. The Hermit card is the Virgo card. Pure intentions coming in here. There's a sense of discouragement, a feeling like you've gone as far as you can go with something, and not being able to see the next steps. It's supposed to be a practical card, but right now I'm seeing like assistance and seeing like just how far you can go by yourself. Luckily you have these dogs come circling around, so you're not doing the whole thing by yourself. But there can be in Two of Fire a lack of faith as well, because we can only see so far. We can't see the whole, you know, who is it? There's a quote of just like, if you can, is it Jung? If you can see the whole, your whole path ahead of you, it's not your path. It's already been done. It's somebody else's path. And believe it or not, even with 8 billion of us here, we're all very unique and we're on really unique paths. Well, some more unique and less unique, right? But if you can see the whole thing and exactly how it's going to unfold, you're probably a bit delusional about that. And then also like, it's not your path. It's some path that's already been done, or something that you already saw, or something that somebody else has already done. So there's this sense of unknown. We're shining a light into the unknown, but your path is going to be very unknown, and you can prepare for it and you can do it and you can think very logically about it, but that is going to bring you to only so far. The rest has to be faith. So we have sort of a loss of faith here, and we have that a little bit continuing. I kind of see maybe that you might start something or start looking for something and feel discouraged kind of right away. But confidence is your key to success. You can get there, but there might be some discouraging moments on the way there. But right, we have this Four of Fire, a very solid movement forward, which I don't think you're going to see this week. I think you're going to make your own movement, but as far as like the path before you coming very clear, opening up, that's not what it looks like is what's happening here. There's actually like some practical issues that might kind of bog you down a little bit. So you might get a new job, you might get a new project, because we do have this Page of Earth and this Eight of Earth. You might get something that exactly you want, but it's possible that you'll immediately run into some logistic issues that could be overwhelming. But again, you can do it. That was the beginning. That's how we started this. You can do this. You can get through this, even though there's a lot of unknowns and it may look like a big scary night. You can get through this. So let's pull a feather and close it up. So what feather do you want me to pull? What do you think? I want it to, it's hard because like I can sort of see on the back here, but I want them to be a surprise myself. So Oriole, a new creative venture is on the horizon. See it as a positive change. And this encouragement to see it as a positive change does make it seem like maybe there's a little difficulty to it too. But a new creative venture is on the horizon. And I love this because that's what this page of Earth is saying, although that's a much more grounded energy. But with the wands there, it is seeming like a real creative endeavor in the 3D. So Oriole, and then they have like such good mantras with them that I want to look this one up. Kind of wish they'd put the mantras on the card too. My creativity and projects are blessed with golden light. Oh, wow. Well, we've got the golden light right here. And we've got the golden light right here. So maybe this is more positive than I'm thinking, than I originally thought. There is a light to guide your way, but it is one step at a time. It's not the whole path. So yes, that is the mantra. My creativity and projects are blessed with golden light. Beautiful. All right, well, have confidence. That's going to be really important here. You can do it. You can do it. All right, bye.